I think now is the perfect time for us to. You have a video queued up, right?
I
For
do.
us to watch, and I don't know what it
Do.
is, but we're gonna
Speaking
watch
of
it together.
recreation
Mhm,
and what's going on out there and family in this case, I'm
mhm.
going to show you something that I promise, well, I'm almost certain you have never seen before.
I'm pretty sure.
And it's a good slice of life that everyone I think can enjoy.
Okay,
Unless
shit.
they don't like the idea of
Unless they
fish,
don't like what?
unless they don't like the idea of fish dying, because it has to
Oh,
do with,
okay. Well, it depends on what they're dying for. If it's for dinner, I'm down.
it
Yeah.
is, and it's dying in a different way.
Oh
It's
God.
a different way, but
I have a
I'll share
guess
my
of what
screen
this is
now
now.
here. Okay, here we go.
Hmm. Oh my gosh. Is that a rake?
My grandpa, my great
Oh,
uncle.
great. What do you think the temperature is right there? Oh my God.
I'm wondering, he sure wants that thing going.
Oh God.
That's a walleye.
Okay.
Can't spear walleyes. I hope this country music doesn't give us a warning.
It's so in the back. What kind of fish are they? Laughably little northern.
That's a northern pike.
That decoy wasn't a very convincing one, I don't think.
They put a decoy in the water like that. They got it.
He turned and took off.
Oh, oh my God. That water's really shallow too.
You want them?
Okay.
Oh man. Oh, that hurts just watching.
He's such a good thrower of that spear. I've tried his spears
Seriously.
like veers.
Oh man. Not a bad day at all for you all. Oh, why'd they let it go?
Comes another one over there. See, one over there too.
Can he get is he gonna try to get two on one throw?
That would be something.
Uh, whoa.
Ooh, that's a big
God
one.
dang.
That's a big fish.
Oh, buddy. Did it just get it in between?
There's a
No, I
lot of
got
meat
it.
on that.
Got a monster. Huh?
Boy, Minnesota is really just Oklahoma with ice. Northern.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are littler. They don't usually spear them unless you really need one.
Get you next year.
There's a lot of action. Well, that's a nice
Seriously,
one.
those decoys.
Yeah, they really draw them in. I'm surprised more fish don't attack the decoy, but it only happens once in a while.
I think they get up there and realize, oh wait, this isn't a real fish.
This is just a perch. They're like walleye, but
Uh, I think I need to start bringing a hot
look at this.
man decoy
This is a biggie.
to the bar, so the girls swim up to him and then wait. Never mind. The analogy falls apart. Never
That's a
mind.
big one.
Why did they spear it?
See that?
I don't know.
Did you get him in there?
That was a big
Coming
one.
back again.
Oh, I don't know if he is or not.
They've been doing this so many years. They just,
Yeah.
oh, they got it.
Oh, they almost look like eels. They're so long. Oh man, man, man. What lake is that on?
Um,
Hmm. Oh, so Aunt Betty was the videographer.
so yeah, she took it. That's my my grandpa's sister, and there's my grandpa here. I recorded him again telling a story where um he went up caribou hunting in Alaska,
Yeah.
and then he shot two actually,
Hmm.
and you shoot them from far away often. And before they got to him, a grizzly and her cub got to them.
And just what and but took
They're
them, I
eating.
guess. Do the bears just eat? Oh,
Bears eat a lot. They eat berries. They eat I don't know if they eat any plants, but they eat berries and then they eat meat.
and
They're like
honey. Obviously honey,
omnivores.
right?
Oh yeah, honey.
And picnic baskets. Or the contents of picnic baskets. You
So
know, it's funny you bring up bears.
go after them.
So I was talking to the neighbor I met, and this lady was walking by, walking her dogs, and she says, "Did you hear about the bear?" And we're both just like, "No." Apparently, there was a bear like a few blocks away from my house this morning, just wandering the streets.
Wow,
So
Red Norman.
the guy, the neighbor goes on these early morning walks and saw a helicopter, and it's like, oh, that must have been why the helicopter was there to spot the bear. So they ran it up into a tree, and then guys here aren't really that used to dealing with bears, so they tranked it and it fell, and I'm pretty sure they killed it. But yeah, there's a bear in my hood. So
That is strange. I mean, how far is it from your place to wilderness?
well, that's the thing about Oklahoma. There's patches of wilderness or patches of just wilderness all throughout the city,
There are.
just here and there. But the main stretches, I mean, just a mile or so away, you get to where it's just
That bear would have had to walk through. Did that bear walk through several blocks of homes and
it had to have been. We were
development?
trying to figure out how it got here, but
Yeah,
it
wow.
just kind of there's some waterways that it might have just got into and just kind of got turned around or something. But yeah, I don't know. And so then the question was, do bears travel alone? Because if they don't, watch it back. Oh, so take the share screen off. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Unless you.
Yeah, so that's actually an old that ice fishing. I don't know if you call it ice spearing or dark house fishing, because you're in a little shack or whatever that no light really gets in. So, tiny bit, but you try to block off as much light as you can, because the more light you block out from coming in, the easier it is for you to see down below.
The physics of vision.
In this case, you can see the bottom quite well.
Okay.
And when the fish come in, you can watch, and they all come in to see this decoy. I'm surprised more northerns don't grab it. It happens once in a while, but it's rare. It's pretty rare. You don't expect it when it's rare, but they just kind of mosey up to it and check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Bing.
There you go. There's now that's really, I mean, how long do you think, over what kind of length of time was that? Like on each day? Do you think it was for hours? It was hours, right?
Usually what you do is you get there pretty early. You set up, you're probably fishing by 7, 8, and then you'll do like a morning, and usually you leave by like noon or 1.
Okay.
That's usually how my family would do it. I go with my dad growing up and my grandpa. My grandpa died just this last summer, so seeing him now was kind of a treat.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's my dad is somewhat, and now the generations, it changes.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to be a hybrid myself.
Mm-hmm.
I went
hunting. Cut out a little bit. What'd you say?
I went hunting for the first time in 20 years this last November, deer hunting up here in Minnesota. And I got a little buck, so I got venison, and I love venison, and I love cooking it, and cooking the food that you got. I dig it. Joe Rogan helped me get into that a little more.
It's got to feel good. I mean, I've never been, hunting, I think early on in my life, I was not a big fan of guns, but that's because I had no exposure to them. But as I kind of got older, I got to know some hunters, I realized that, obviously there's issues. There's a gun problem in this country, but it's not when it comes to hunting. Right. People who hunt and, game hunting, not shooting elephants and whatever, but just hunting, deer and venison, whatever, like, and making food and fishing, all of that is it's got to feel so just Right. You know, because as humans, that's what we did. We live off the land.
I like that description.
You know?
Yeah, it feels very fitting. Yeah.
It's a direct line. Like
being out in nature to me feels appropriate.
Yeah.
There's a real belonging, and you don't have to be a real, country boy and I grew up in the country. I was in a very small town in northern Minnesota where my, they all still live. The woman you hear and her husband, who is getting most of them, they're still alive.
Mm-hmm.
My grandpa's passed, but they're all up there where I'm from in northern Minnesota. But I think, I don't know. I would guess for most people, you go to a park or a nature reserve, and you're just around some trees, and you don't see much development.
Mm-hmm.
People don't like camping. I know, I understand. But if you go to a campground where there's no, you really don't see much man-made stuff, cars, roads. It just, I don't know. I always feel a calm, a belonging, a connectedness. I don't know, you might call it spiritual. I just think it kind of harkens back to a deeper part of our history. And there's a real connection there.
Now, to tie two things together that kind of don't feel like they should be tied together. Being out in nature, natural, that kind of thing. Fishing feels, hunting. I get it. I've been in an ice house or fish house, whatever, fish house, I guess.
Yeah.
One time.
That's what most people think about. I should say too, this is spearing. So the hole is going to be much larger and rectangular. Mm-hmm. So you can, throw a spear, whereas ice fishing is just, you cut a hole and you might be in a little ice shack or a little house, mm-hmm. A little shack, or you might just be out in the open lake. But either way, it's a small hole and you just fish through it with a little rod and reel. But
well, anyway. So that's what I expected. I dated a girl for a while, and we went ice fishing with her parents. And I'm thinking we're going to just, auger out a hole and just have this hut, whatever. These people, man, they had a camper basically that had a toilet, that had a generator, they had the hole cut out. We put the poles, set them on whatever, these holders, and just had our lines in. We had sonar, like detecting when fish come around. So we let the sonar fish basically while we played cribbage. We played cribbage. And we listened to the radio through the speakers in the hut and just kind of hung out like we were just living in the city. And it was such a disconnect when I thought we were going to be in nature, but somehow we were in nature, but had a better setup than most of my apartments, through my children,
I am a fan. You need money, but I am a fan of getting the best of both worlds if possible. So having a nice camper if you go camping rather than just straight up tent. But maybe that'll change too as I get more and more reconnected with nature. And then when I get older still, then I'll want to go back to the camper, but we'll see. But what you're talking about is, there's a proper like shack. It's a proper shack, cabin, one might say, right? Fish house.
Cabin.
And there might be even a bed in there, right? There might be places to really, and then it becomes sort of like the hunting shack. It becomes just the place to go to have a good time. And we'll go hunting too while we're at it. And here's the fishing. But it's like, that's like the bar is just a place to socialize and let loose. And let's have a drink and hang out at the bar and watch the game. Yeah. This is like that, but fishing.
It's also basically where the men would go on the weekend, and you walk outside, and it's just the whole. And it was such a trip because I'm not used to life on the frozen lakes, but everybody's just, there's cars and big trucks, like big trucks and campers just all throughout. As far as the eye can see,
it's a whole social.
Yeah, and everybody just goes out and smokes a butt and says what's up and talks, and you go back in and you listen to more radio or you grill something on the propane fuel, grill, and you just hang out and
just leisure.
It was the kind of thing that I think as a living in that climate, you have to find a way to not fight it, to just kind of say, okay, the lake is frozen. Let's go do this thing on the lake and make it something to look forward to, or otherwise you go nuts just being inside and like, the winter sucks. What do we do? It's like, no, we go and we fish, we hang out, we socialize, and drink a bunch of beer, and you let the sonar catch the fish. But anyway, So
yeah, I know. Sometimes it becomes too easy, like fish finders on boats.
yeah.
It's like, oh, we don't have to worry about finding the fish. It does it for us.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, who knows how far that'll go, but right now it's well, pretty soon what they'll do is they'll just straight up have cameras.
Yeah.
And they do have those, I think.
I'm
I
sure
think they do have cameras. They'll come if they haven't already, and then you can just literally just look down there and say, oh yeah, there's the fish. Put it right in front of its nose. Sort of like this.
Yeah, it almost feels like, wait a minute, what are we doing here?
It morphs, it blends.
Yeah.
That's modernity, man. It blends things. It blends like, hey, we're supposed to be out in nature. What are we doing with this tech? Right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be embracing the challenge of, the challenge of finding the deer, of finding the fish. And now, are we going to have something shoot it and fish for us too? I mean,
we could just go to the grocery store. You know what I mean? We could just do that and just go hang out at the bar and not worry about the deer, But anyway,
why don't we just go out on the boat, have a good time, and then just go buy some fish on the way home?
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, you like that one, yeah.
Focus on the jet skis and sea-doos or whatever.